Hello, welcome to Slits Fashion Academy. Today I'm going to show you how to make a welt buttonhole. You probably have heard what the welt pocket is, so we're going to be using the welt to make a buttonhole. I I'm basically using pieces of paper as an illustration. It is assumed that if you are making it, you'll be making it on a real dress. So I'm going to pin the two small pieces together so that I have it balanced and it does not shake. Then I'm going to mark. I want the width of my buttonhole to be one quarter. So you see, I just marked one quarter there, and I want it to be a quarter inch wide. So I'm going to mark a quarter up and down. Please notice that I it has where it must stop and it has where it must start. So your threading must not pass the bridge that I put there, and I'm marking it so that the line is as straight as possible. All this contributes to having a perfect welt. The triangle will be cut. We'll get there when I start sewing. So I am going to sew on the first line. I'm going to back stitch, ensuring that it does not pass the bridge that I marked, and I'm going to sew it to the other side, back stitching as well, ensuring of course that it does not pass the bridge that I have drawn. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Back stitch at the beginning, drive your machine all the way down, and back stitch at the end of it. Now it's time to cut my thread and to notch the middle. You see it has not been cut, so I'm checking if my lines are balanced. You can see this is extending a little more than the other, so I want both sides to be equal. So it's quite equal now. This is actually very important. It could make or mar your welt pocket. Now I want to use my scissors to make a notch in the middle. I'm going to cut the middle, and I'm going to notch where the triangle is. So I've made a slight opening, and then you have to be very careful here so your scissors does not pass the edge that it's supposed to pass. If not, you could have spoiled the fabric, especially if you're using a real dress or a real fabric, not some sample material. So you do the same thing to the other side. You want to ensure that you get the right, you start at the right place and you stop at the right place. So avoid using the far end of your scissors. I like to use the tip. It's easier to control the tip of your scissors. You see that it's much easier to control the tip of your scissors. And of course you need a scissors that is sharp at the tip to be able to achieve this. Now we have the part where we try to fold it out. And this part, it takes some time, especially if you're just new to it, because you have to balance both sides. You have to ensure that both sides are well balanced. So some people use, here I'm going to be using office pin to hold it together. Some people use needle and thread to sew both parts together, and whichever one works for you. But the fastest way is to just get your needle and hold it. So you ensure that what you have in one side, the how wide it is in one side is how wide it should be at the other side. That's actually what makes it have this really professional look. So I'm trying to secure, but I realized it's not very balanced, so I decided to put the pin inside. You see, I already put the pin inside instead of outside, and I have it balanced. So now I want to sew. So you see, I already tucked the triangle. I tucked the triangle inside. That's the triangle. So I need to sew. I need to sew on that triangle. I need to sew on the triangle, and it has to be straight and precise. So if you're using light fabric, it might be a little difficult. So you want to put stay. You see that? You want to put stay on the pocket. It's on the welt itself, not on the fabric. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, and I need to sew it down. You see what it looks like. Now what I did here is, I after sewing the triangle, triangle one, triangle too. You see what I did there? Now I also held down the seam. So you see I held down the seam straight down and I held down the other seam straight down. And that's basically what your welt would look like. It looks really good. Though this is for a pocket. Of course the button has to be really large because I use 1 1/4. Most buttons are not that wide. So if you're using it for a pocket, you probably use 1 inch. You make the hole 1 inch wide. 1 1/4 looks quite big. But you see how good it looks? If you press this,